Hello, welcome to BBC London This Lunchtime. I'm Victoria Cook. Homophobic hate crimes are up more than 40% nationally in the last year. A London-based charity called Compassion in Care says homophobia is an issue which is now being seen in care homes, with a rise in vulnerable LGBTQ+ people being abused. Thomas McGill explains.
That's us in Greenwich Park, must be 30 years ago.
Ted and Noel were together for 50 years. They spent a lifetime fighting for LGBT rights. But it was in a care home where they had their final battle when Noel was abused by staff.
No, you can't see it there, but it's just visible here. The first time was when I discovered bruises on him, and also when a staff member rang me to say that she felt that he was being attacked by some of the staff. There was one bruise that went from his navel right around his waist, round to his spine. Knuckle prints on his chest, where you could see where he'd been punched.
Noel passed away in 2021 after being moved to another care home. He was awarded £30,000 from Lambeth Council for breaching his human rights.
I think this is a massive problem. What we've shown is just a very small tip of a very large iceberg. I think we're going to see more and more of these cases happening.
A report by Compassion in Care published earlier this month heard from almost 300 whistleblowers working within the care sector, who spoke about witnessing physical and mental abuse towards vulnerable LGBT residents.
There's an awful taboo as well about sexuality of older people. And a lot of victims feel ashamed because they are a victim of this kind of crime. What's been highlighted is specifically that victims often have no children. So they don't have that network of people visiting them, which means that there's less scrutiny, and that makes them more vulnerable.
Well, some of the accounts from whistleblowers in this report are truly disturbing. One of them tells of a gay resident who was spat on and told that they were a filthy pervert. Another whistleblower says that a gay resident would be deliberately left without food, water or any care at all and would be slapped around. In that incident, the whistleblower says management were told but did nothing. Ted is now waiting to receive £30,000 awarded to Noel by Lambeth Council for breaching his human rights. They say since 2022 the council have been working with care home providers and charities on a programme to better respond to the needs of older LGBTQ+ people receiving social care services. Thomas McGill, BBC London.
Homophobia also remains a problem in other parts of the capital. The mayor has condemned a homophobic attack on two men in Clapham. The two victims have now been released from hospital after they were stabbed outside the Two Brewers on Sunday night. So far, no arrests have been made. Emma North has more.
Well, the reaction to what happened here on Sunday night in Clapham has been unanimous and it's been widespread. Just having a look at what the London Mayor Sadiq Khan has said, he called the homophobic attack abhorrent and said, "I've always been clear that there is no place for hate in London." Well, to tell us more about the reaction, let's hear from LGBT Heroes CEO Ian Howley. Ian, you're a regular at this pub. How safe do you now feel?
You know, I think Lambeth in general is a safe space for LGBTQ+ people, and the Two Brewers here has always been a pillar of a community within this borough. And generally, you know, I've always felt safe coming to the Two Brewers. But when an incident happens like this, you know, you kind of have to check yourself a little bit, look around and see what's safe. You know, an incident like this does shake up a community.
Briefly, what needs to be done to make you feel safer? I mean, the pub says that it's handed over the CCTV to the police, they're going to up security. Is that enough?
I think there's a lot that we can do as a community to make our own spaces as safe as possible, because there's a little impact that we can have on general society. But, you know, when it comes to like the Met Police and the councils and the government, I think there's a lot more that can be done to invest it into making sure that these spaces are as safe as possible, because they are, like I said, the Two Brewers is a pillar of a community. and we have to make sure that it's as safe as possible for our communities.
Ian, thank you so much for that. Well, the one message of positivity has come from one of the victims himself, a gentleman called Agnello, who posted on Instagram that since the attack he's never felt prouder, happier or more comforted by the LGBTQ+ community, who he calls his family.
Emma North reporting there. Next this lunchtime, the family and friends of a man from Hackney who's been missing for 3 weeks say not knowing where he is agonising. Joe Warren was last seen on Hackney marshes on the 25th of July. He's described as 6'3" and was wearing a camouflage jacket and green trousers. Police are urging anyone with information to come forward. Some businesses in Southwark say they weren't told about the closure of Tower Bridge over the upcoming bank holiday weekend and say it'll hit them hard. The famous landmark will close for repairs between the 25th and 28th of August. Bridge House Estates, which manages the crossing, said it had to schedule the work at short notice, which meant not everyone in the area was informed. A senior police commissioner has told the BBC parents should be fined for the actions of children who commit crimes when they take part in crazes inspired by social media. Last week, several people were arrested after disorder in Oxford Street and the West End, apparently motivated by videos on TikTok. The chair of the Association of Police and Crime Commissioners says it's a sign of societal breakdown. It's emerged that London is bucking the trend when it comes to installing on-street charging points for electric vehicles. A Freedom of Information investigation by the car maker Vauxhall shows that over 70% of councils across the country have no strategy in place to install on-street charging. But the capital will soon be home to over 19,000 charging points. That's more than double the number across the rest of the country. Now, voting has opened for the public to pick their Tree of the Year. That's for the annual Woodland Trust Award. So look at this. This is a Crouch Oak in Addlestone. It has made the shortlist. It's over 800 years old. It's known as the Queen Elizabeth I picnic tree. And this tree, also on the list, is this sweet chestnut tree in Greenwich Park. This was planted at the request of King Charles II. This year, the competition is focusing on ancient trees in urban locations. Now, in exactly 2 weeks, the ultra-low emission zone will be expanded to Outer London. And tonight on BBC London, we'll be answering your questions on ULEZ and the scrappage scheme. If you have a question, please do email us at hellobbclondon@bbc.co.uk. You can see that in our programme at 6:30. Time for a look at the weather now with Elizabeth Rizzini.
Hello there, good afternoon. It's a much quieter looking day of weather today than we saw yesterday across the capital. Lots of blue sky and sunshine earlier on this morning as captured by our weather watchers here in beautiful Barnes and again in gorgeous Greenwich. But we're seeing more cloud develop through the afternoon and some of the cloud could produce perhaps 1 or 2 showers, especially out towards the west. So not completely dry, but I think most of us mostly dry as we head through the rest of the afternoon. The winds lighter than they were yesterday and the temperatures slightly higher, peaking at 23 or 24 Celsius. Now this evening and overnight, any showers that we do see will fade away to leave us with some long clear spells and perhaps a bit of mist and fog forming into tomorrow morning. For some, especially in the rural spots, it could be quite a murky start to the day. Lows of around 12 to 14 degrees Celsius, and then tomorrow we're expecting a lot of morning sunshine. Any mist and fog will burn back really quite readily through the morning, and there could just be 1 or 2 showers through the afternoon, but again I think many of us will be completely dry tomorrow and temperatures will peak just that little bit higher, easily into the mid-20s in Celsius. And then on Thursday we start to draw in more of a southeasterly wind. It will start to feel really quite warm and humid, particularly through the nights as we head towards the end of the working week. Lots more sunshine around again on Thursday, some areas of cloud, but there'll be showers on Friday.
That's it from us, but there's more on our website, including the row over some vape adverts on London buses and if they should be labelled as being green. Lakshmi will be here with our 6:30 evening news. Until then, have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.